Let's create together in our journal planners this week. We will make some simple pockets and belly bands using our new digital kit from my Etsy shop, Vintage Fern. A little tissue paper and create some tags for our to-do list. Hi everyone, Patty here. I picked a page that I wanted to use for my pockets from the digital Vintage Fern No Date Planner Kit on my Etsy shop. You can use these easy steps to create pockets and belly bands from any digital or masterboard you've created. I have cut the page in half and then cut this in half. So now my piece is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. Cut off all of the white border around the page. Now to find something round that is big enough to make a cut out for this pocket. I tried a bottle and it wasn't big enough, so I went with some tape and formed the tape into the shape I wanted for my opening for this pocket. More of an oval shape. Trace around the shape and cut out half a circle onto your digital. This looks good. Take the other piece of your paper and cut off the white border. Measure it to see if it will fit your page. I just did this by eye, no ruler. Maybe a smidge off the side for the pocket will fit without being too close to the binding of the journal page to ensure your pages flip easily. Figure out where the center of the page is and make a mark. Do your mark making on the back side of the page so it won't show. For this pocket, we're going to cut a diagonal cut for the opening. I decided how far down I want the opening to go and make a mark. About 2 inches down from the top. Measure over from both sides about a 1/2 inch. Make your diagonal line from the side of the mark in the center on both sides. If you like this slope or if you need to make any changes to the degree of your diagonal cut, now is the time to make those changes. I like mine and cut it out. Two pockets are ready for our journal. Make sure to ink those edges. With the other half of the paper, we'll make a couple belly bands. Cut the piece in half again and trim off the white border. I will fold mine in half and glue together to form a stronger belly band as I printed my digitals out on 28-pound paper. It needs a little reinforcement. Fold this piece in half and glue the piece together. After the glue dries, you could sew around the edges if you have a sewing machine. I sewed one and left the other just folded in half. Ink the edges and check to see if it will fit your page. I have more pages of the digital and decided to go out to our Connex box where most of my craft supplies are while we are tiny house living and waiting for our place to sell and we find a new place to live. That is where I have my big shot and go cut some tags, garden greens, and tabs with a few of these pages and some brown packaging paper. I want to emboss for another project later in the month we can work on. I try to plan what I need to do in the Connex box before I pack everything up and go out in this cold, windy weather that we're having. The Connex box is not heated or have any lighting, so I don't want to spend much time out there. Now to decide where to put the 2 pockets and the belly band we have made into our journals. For the belly band, decide which side you want to have facing up and glue down the 2 ends. Pick your pages and glue them down on 3 sides if it's the pocket. Keep your bead of glue as close to the edge as you can so you have plenty of room to add your tags. If you don't have any real ferns to use in your journal planner, try using tissue paper or napkins. I must have really liked this tissue paper because when I came back from the store to put it away, I already had purchased another bag of it. I put a little matte medium down on the small page that has watercolor and rust already on it. Rip the fern out of the tissue paper and adhered it to the paper with the matte medium. This will be a nice addition to my journal. I found a quote I want to add to this page. I show adding this on my Instagram account. Now to make some tags, because I just didn't want a die-cut tag out of the digital and make simple tags to go into the simple pockets. So I decided to use some watercolor paper and get some color on them, forest moss, oxide spray, and vintage photo re-inker. When doing this coloring technique, like we did for the tabs and the specimen cards in the first video, we want to leave some white space. Do not fill the whole page up with color. I get having so much fun putting the color on the paper, I add too much and then my project is too dark. Leaving white space is my biggest tip on this process. I spritz this with a little water to get the colors to oxide and give me that look. I love how distress oxides have this technology. Dab off any excess puddles and let this dry. For our first tag, I do use the die-cut tag from the green plaid digital and layer it onto the watercolor paper colored tag. I cut the tag about 3 inches wide by 7 inches long. Cutting the tab corners and flipping the cut corner over to the top side to cut the same corner. I make 4 tags using this technique. Maybe not all the exact size, but close. For this layered tag, I need to cut the plaid die-cut tag down so it will fit onto the watercolor tag. Figure out which watercolor tag will look best with the plaid tag and start auditioning some ideas for layering onto the tag. I want a piece of cardboard which I rip the layers off to expose the corrugation, and it takes away the bulkiness of the cardboard. I don't want my tags to be too thick or they won't fit into my simple pockets, being I didn't add gussets to the pockets. Ink the edges of the cardboard to give it even a more distressed look. We will be using stickers on this tag, along with a die-cut garden green. I have these labels from Love Junk Journal's Nature Definition Labels by Fox Creative to layer onto the bottom of the tag, along with Tiny Field Notes ephemera from Tim Holtz. I keep auditioning the position of the stickers and how they will all glue down. At this point, I want to make sure that the tags will fit in my belly bands or the pockets before I glue down the pieces. They all fit. Okay, we're good at gluing things down. I start with the cardboard, even though I want the stickers to go partly under the cardboard. So don't glue all the way to the edge, and then you can tuck the stickers under the cardboard. The long die cut of the garden greens is glued to the center of the cardboard. Add the labels at the bottom of the tag. Then start layering the stickers under the cardboard and over the cardboard. Trim off any excess pieces that are hanging off the edge of the tag. Go around the edges with some distress ink. For tag number 2, we're going to rip a piece of the green packaging paper that we stenciled on last week with our dried ferns. A ripped piece of old book page layered over the top of the green packaging, and then find a piece of brown packaging paper, and we'll try to draw a fern onto this for our tag. If you don't have a fern to look at, to draw, do a Google search and find a fern to draw. Also, the Creative Cove has a video on fern quick sketch with ink. I love her quick sketch videos, and she gives a lot of detail on drawing a fern. I draw it lightly with a pencil to give me a general location of how I want the piece to look, and then go back with a Sharpie or black pen. I added a little more depth and darkened the leaves with some lines to look like veins in the fern fronds. I inked the edges to give my brown packaging a vintage look. Layer this onto the strips of paper and arrange your tag in a pleasing order. I first put the green down, then the old book page, and will put the drawing on top, front, and center. I love having hand-drawn pieces in my journal, no matter what they look like, because it's always fun to go back and check your progress of drawing over the years. Add a few more marks to darken some areas of the fern, giving it some dimension. I used my emery board to go around the edges of this tag and distress the edges a bit, and it takes any paper sticking off over the edge from the tag. Then ink your edges of the whole tag. For tag number 3, we will start with inking the edges of the whole tag. We'll be using one of the specimen cards we made in part 1 video. I had added brads to 4 corners of the specimen card. I type out on my computer words to use in my journals. I chose to use finishing touches to this tag. layered it with a scrap piece of my digital kit, and added 2 more brads to the label to make the 2 pieces cohesive. My brad prongs were too long, and I used a pair of Tim Holtz tonic scissors to cut the excess off, for it wouldn't show when I glued them down. Don't forget to ink those edges before gluing the pieces together. I find my cheesecloth that I had dyed with some tea and cut off a piece to layer all of these pieces onto. I looked for a piece of lace, and part of the backing from the cardboard was laying on my desk, so I layered all of these together to make a cluster on the tag. I didn't worry about the lace being white because I wanted to make it under the cheesecloth, which would mute it and it wouldn't be so stark. It's a good idea to take a picture of your piece before you remove everything once you get it all laying down the way you want it, because then you know how to put them back. Figuring out where to put the pieces to make a balanced and unified tag is part of the fun of making clusters onto our projects. Glue your piece down. And trim off some of the cheesecloth so it's not too much that hangs over the edge of the tag, or it won't fit into your pocket. I want to make a lace tab for this, and my lace only has the pretty border down one side. So I double up the piece, putting the border going one direction and the other one on the other side. Now the border's down both sides. Cut 2 pieces about an inch long and distress a bit with your distress ink. I just stapled this to the top of the tag. We will make one more tag, as I like to have 4 tags in my planner for my to-do list. I used one of the real ferns that I had dried in my composition book and pick one that will fit my tag. Layered a piece of acetate over the top and cut it to fit the tag. Take the piece to the sewing machine and sewed around the whole tag and around the fern. I sewed around the pieces a couple times, making sure I had the acetate completely sewn onto the tag. Now to add an eyelet to the top of the tag and a piece of dyed cloth for a topper. Find a place for your tags in your planner journal. Next week we'll make a time capsule to add to our belly band that will house some fun things that we can look back onto over the years. Plus we have those envelopes we need to do something with in our journal. Have a great day. Bye now.